Hello and Happy New Year. I just want to quickly say that there will be spoilers for Revolution of the Daleks in this video, and most likely every single video coming on from this point onwards. So today we are going to be discussing the parallel universe theory. Some of you may know about this already, especially if you're a fan of a certain Confused Adipose, and if you don't know the theory I'm talking about, here is the legend himself to explain it to you.
Hello Force Dalek, I'm just gonna run through my parallel universe theory very quickly and hopefully it makes sense. Basically, I had the idea that what if, when Peter Capaldi's 12th Doctor regenerates in his TARDIS, the whole thing blows up and crashes. The reason it blew up and crashed was because, just like in Age of Steel and Rise of the Cybermen, the TARDIS somehow slipped into a parallel universe. Therefore, the entire events of the Jodie Whittaker era are accidentally set in a parallel universe. Now, you can have people like Captain Jack know this is a parallel universe, they travel there, they try and tell the Doctor, just like in Fugitive of the Jadoon, he wanted to give the Doctor a message about the lone Cyberman. What if he also needs to tell her they're in a parallel universe? He did mention it in Revolution of the Daleks. He sort of talked about Rose being in a parallel universe. Maybe they're harkening back to that. Maybe this is going to be one big reveal at the end of the Chibnall era. Why this makes sense, it explains that Earth chronology from Orphan 55. It also explains how the Master is now this evil psychopath again after how long? Missy turned good and then died and then straight again, she's evil. So it would explain that. Yeah, goodbye.
Thank you, Confused Adipose, and by the way, make sure you stay right to the end of the video, as my final piece of evidence is almost concrete in proving our theory. So now you understand the theory, I'm going to somewhat prove and give evidence towards the fact that it's true. First of all, like Adipose said, there are some key differences in Chibnall's era, such as the Earth in Orphan 55, which suffered a different fate in Series 1. The humans also don't know the Daleks, which I understand can be from the Big Bang plotline in Series 5, except this doesn't really fix the problem with the fam and everyone else in the world not knowing who the Cybermen are when they literally invaded back in Series 8. So now we somewhat have our grounds and a small level of evidence to at least suggest that this theory is in fact true and playing a part in Chibnall's massive 5-year plan. To understand where I'm going to be going with this theory and prove that it's correct, we first have to look back to the Series 9 story arc. Apologies for any flashbacks. This concept may actually be leaving a few of you confused as to what the Series 9 arc was, and this arc was shown us through subtle hints and subtle metaphors throughout the entire series, and in the second episode of Series 9 we got a first look with the line from my favourite master, Missy, about the hybrid. This mention of a hybrid is replicated through the series with Ashilda being part human and part Maya, and again with the Daleks being part Time Lord, part Dalek. That lion creature also being part lion and kind of humanoid. Then of course the massive one, the Zygons. Hybrid Zygons. Who are Zygons? That's all the Zygons, but living human lives, a mix of both species. This arc uses one concept, a hybrid, which is mentioned throughout the series. Now if we apply the same kind of idea to the Chibnall era, alongside the evidence suggesting to the theory, we can come and see everything nicely being put together. We start with Spyfall Part 1, a new master who is evil again, but most importantly, the Kasavin and their dimension. This dimension is the gap between different times, but maybe it's more than that. We know it's also a gateway between dimensions, and currently the only other gateway between dimensions is the Void, which was where the Daleks and Revolution of the Daleks were sent, but we'll get to that. Next we move on to Spyfall Part 2, specifically at the end where the Doctor smashes through the time vortex into the bubble universe where Gallifrey is. This shows the fans that rather than it being impossible to fall out of the time vortex across the void into another universe, like the 10th Doctor said was impossible, that it is in fact possible and the TARDIS can survive without ease rather than being broken and dead like it was in the Rise of Cyberman 2-parter. Moving towards Ruth in Fugitive of the Jadoon. It's possible that she is the Timeless Child and linking in with that, but I don't think the Doctor is a Timeless Child, but that's a video for a totally different day. But It is also possible that she's just a doctor in this universe, and they've kind of just got muddled up. Skipping over the Timeless Child's finale, we will now move on to the most recent episode, Revolution of the Daleks. There are many hints towards this theory in this episode. First of all, we have the fact that no one remembers the Daleks on Earth. Again, this could be because of the Big Bang, but then we get a mention of Rose Tyler, who is famously trapped in an alternative universe alongside the mention of former companion Yos. We also got the word void and parallel universe literally dropped in the episode, both by Captain Jack, who was a major part of the plot. As the Doctor sent a message down the timelines, we saw a visual on the screen of what it looks like, and this looks a little bit like, it's a bit of a long shot, but it almost looks like what the inside of the Kasavin's dimension tubing would appear to look like. There's now just a little theory, which is an extra piece of evidence, but doesn't tell us, it doesn't really matter if it's wrong. So it was stated that Gwen had a son. However, from watching Torchwood Miracle Day if you haven't seen it, we know that the child was a baby girl, was a girl. So she had a daughter, not a son. While this could just mean she had a second child, it could also mean that it's a different universe, and in this universe it was a baby boy instead of a girl. Now for the final bit of evidence, and boy oh boy is it our strongest piece. In the recent teaser for Series 13, showing off the new companion John Bishop as Dan, an article by the BBC said that they were exploring, Dan can join the TARDIS with Yaz and the Doctor in exploring time and space and different universe, with a bracket saying S, that they're going to be exploring universes. This is literally confirming that they're going to be exploring universes, showing us that the next chapter of the 13th Doctor, as Chibnall keeps calling it, will include multiple universes, a multiverse, and perhaps her original one. Maybe that's why her vortex looks like this, well, maybe not. But anyway, wow, I need a drink, and no, not that kind of drink. I'm just going to display what drink I meant on screen, and yeah. So, let me know what you think below, and if you find any extra pieces of evidence, maybe in past episodes, or just little things that Chibnall or the cast of crew have said that I've missed. So special thanks to the Confused Adipose, who joined us in this video. Have a good new year, and I will see you all later.
Yeah, goodbye.